You know, for decades, Oracle was a titan of old-school enterprise software. Super reliable, super powerful, but let's be honest, probably not the first name you thought of in the age of AI. Well, that's all changed. Suddenly, Oracle is right back in the spotlight, and they're making moves that have the entire tech world asking, what just happened? All right, let's get into this incredible comeback story.
It really all kicked off with this number. Out of nowhere, a single day stock surge of over 35%. I mean, this wasn't just a good day on the market, this was a shockwave. It was a signal that something deep inside the company had fundamentally shifted. A jump that big, it just begs for an explanation.
And that one surge pushed Oracle's value past an incredible $922 billion. We're talking about a legacy tech giant, a company many had written off as old tech, adding hundreds of billions in value almost overnight. This isn't just about stocks anymore. It's about a massive reevaluation of what this company is and where it's going.
Which brings us right to the heart of this whole thing. How on earth did this happen? Was it just a stroke of luck, a fluke? Or was this the result of a deliberate, super high-stakes gamble that is now paying off in the most spectacular way possible? Well, the answer lies in a complete reinvention of their entire game plan.
Yeah, this was no accident. This was all about executing a brand new playbook, one that was focused laser sharp on the single biggest opportunity in tech today, the AI cloud. See, Oracle saw this revolution coming, and they decided they weren't just going to be a part of it, they were going to build the very foundation that the whole revolution runs on.
So here's the key. They completely shifted their business model. For years, Oracle was famous for selling licensed software that companies would install on their own servers. That's what made them a legend. But they moved away from that. Instead, they went all in on building and renting out super high-performance cloud infrastructure, the kind that is tailor-made for the insane computing demands of artificial intelligence. And they really put their money where their mouth was. This wasn't just talk. They rolled out over 60 new AI applications for their customers. They started using what's called agentic AI. Think of them as smart, autonomous robots to automate their own huge data centers. And most critically, they just poured billions and billions into building these specialized, high-powered data centers that AI models are absolutely starving for.
And the ultimate proof that this strategy was working? A reported landmark contract with OpenAI, the folks behind ChatGPT, worth a staggering $300 billion. Let me tell you, when the single most important AI company on the planet trusts you to handle its computing, the market sits up and pays attention. That one deal basically cemented Oracle's new status as an essential player in the AI game. And paying attention is a massive understatement. The reaction from Wall Street and the rest of the industry wasn't just positive. It was, frankly, one of genuine shock and awe. You had seasoned analysts, people who followed this company for their entire careers, just scrambling for words to describe what they were seeing. And you can see the proof right here in the numbers. While Oracle's old traditional software business is kind of flatlining, its new cloud revenue is just exploding, up 28% to $7.2 billion. So this pivot isn't just a plan on a whiteboard, it's a financial reality, and it's happening right now. But this next number, this is the one that really tells you about the future. A 359% increase in what they call remaining performance obligations. So what does that mean? Think of it as a giant committed pipeline of future business. It's the total value of all the deals they've already signed for services they haven't even delivered yet. It shows that the incredible growth we're seeing today is really just the beginning.
You almost never hear Wall Street analysts talk like this. Guggenheim's John DiFucci was so stunned, he actually called it a career event, flat out admitting he was blown away by where the company was headed. I mean, that's the kind of language that tells you a historic shift is happening.
And it wasn't just him. Over at Deutsche Bank, Brad Zelnick called the quarter momentous and the growth in their contract backlog truly historic. When the most skeptical people in the business start using words like that, you know something really, really big is going down.
But maybe the best story to illustrate this insane demand came from Oracle's co-founder, Larry Ellison himself. He said that a single company, he didn't name them, came to Oracle and asked to buy all of their available inferencing capacity. That's the computing power you need to actually run an AI model. Not some of it, all of it. That tells you everything you need to know about how desperate companies are for the exact kind of infrastructure Oracle is building. But look, a comeback story this huge doesn't happen without taking some equally huge risks. To meet this historic demand, Oracle is basically pushing all its chips to the center of the table. It's a bet so big, it could either redefine the company for the next 50 years, or it could go down as one of the biggest gambles in tech history.
And here's the price tag on that bet. The company is planning to spend over $35 billion on capital expenditures in fiscal year 2026 alone. That is a truly monumental amount of cash being poured into building out the data centers they need to make good on all these contracts.
So this really sets up two very different futures for Oracle, right? On one hand, they could become the NVIDIA of the cloud, the absolute indispensable infrastructure provider that every single AI company has to rely on. But on the other hand, this is a massive gamble, with huge risks in execution and some absolutely ferocious competition. And these hurdles are no joke. I mean, can they physically build these massive, complex data centers fast enough? How are they going to fend off the established giants like Amazon's AWS, Microsoft's Azure, and Google? Is all this colossal spending going to strain their finances? And as they get bigger and more powerful, you have to wonder when the regulators might start taking a closer look. These are all very, very real questions. But the potential reward is just as massive as the risk. Just look at this growth projection for their Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. It goes from $10 billion last year to a projected $18 billion by 2026, all the way to a frankly mind-boggling $144 billion by 2030. If, and it's a big if, but if they pull this off, the payoff will be absolutely astronomical.
So, okay, we've looked at the strategy, the wild market reaction, and the huge risks ahead. What's the bottom line here? What does the story of Oracle's big AI comeback really tell us? I think the main takeaway is this. Oracle made a very deliberate choice to bet its entire future on becoming a non-negotiable, indispensable pillar of the AI revolution. This isn't just about a new product line or one good quarter. This is a fundamental, all-or-nothing transformation of one of the most iconic companies in tech history.
Which leaves us with one final massive question. By seizing this moment so aggressively, has Oracle locked in its future at the top of the tech world for decades to come? Or are we watching them take on the biggest, most expensive gamble in modern tech history? Only time is going to tell.